is a proud member of the Tech Podcast Network. If it's tech, it's here. Listen to other great tech podcasts at www.techpodcasts.com.
Yo, you are in the right place at the right time, listening to the right thing. Techwebcast. Congratulations on choosing such an awesome thing to listen to. You are clearly very smart. You're into tech stuff. You love hearing Brad and Jason and their guests chat, and you're probably really good looking too. Well done. So let's get into it. The weekly tech extravaganza that is Techwebcast. In 3, 2, 1, let's go!
Welcome to episode 199 of the Tech Webcast podcast, recorded on Saturday, the 28th of July, 2012. Tech Webcast is recorded every Saturday and rebroadcast on Aussie Tech Heads on Thursday nights at 7 p.m. Today's hosts are Brad, Jason, Jody, and Steve, and our guest is Amy Wood. Good afternoon, Brad.
Hey, Jason. Welcome back, mate.
Hey, how's it going?
I'm going well. How you going? You been sick? You're over
Good. Yeah, getting over most of the flu. It was a terrible one that really knocked me for 6.
Wow. Okay, that's good.
Back up on the feet again and back on the show.
Good stuff. You've been away for 3 weeks.
Yeah, good to be back.
Good. Where you been away? You been in Tyree or something? Cool.
Yeah, I went up north and spent the time with the family. My daughter came with me. We took the train up for a change, took first class. It was very nice.
How was the train ride? Was it fun?
Good, yeah. We really enjoyed it. Something different. I always drive up, so, try something a bit different for a change. It's very nice. Got to enjoy the trip instead of watching out for other idiot drivers on the road.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. All right, we've got Steve back. Hey, Steve.
Hey, what's up there, Brad?
Hey, how's your week been? Any interesting things?
Yeah, I've been trying out the new Mountain Lion from macOS X10. I know everybody else was chicken to try it the first time it came out, so I took one for the Gipper and I installed it right away and using it now.
No problems?
Surprisingly not. I never usually have any problems. Now some other people do, but so far so good.
All right.
Don't be a brat.
Yeah. You okay? Jody. Hey, Jody.
Hey. How you doing, Brad?
Good. I'm good. I'm well. All right. Let's jump into the news before we chat with Amy Woods. Welcome, Amy.
Alrighty. Tech Webcast News. A new charity supported by phone and internet companies will use donations from industry and potentially millions of customers to combat homelessness, domestic violence, and mental illness. The telco industry is constant contact with nearly every Australian and business and sends out 25 million bills every month. The new Telco Together Foundation aims to tap into these interactions to raise money to support existing charities and fund initiatives. Telco Together was started by former Chief Executive of M2 Communications, Vaughan Bowen, and is run by former M2 Marketing Manager, Renee Balker. Our industry collectively has not done anything charitable. Not to say it's not an industry that has not done anything. There's a lot of independent activity, but collectively there has never been a coming together, Mr. Bowen said. Already Optus, Vodafone, AAPT, Community Telco, Vocus, Telco in a Box, and M2 have signed up to the new charity, which was launched last night. Google has made its foray into the market for bundled internet and television services, promising access to speeds more than 100 times faster than those of traditional US cable and telecommunications companies. The web search leader unveiled its ultra-high-speed Google Fiber service in Kansas City, Missouri, and could start installations in September, executives said. Google hopes to roll out the service to other cities later. Access is the next frontier that needs to be opened, Google Chief Finance Officer Patrick Pichette said. We're going to do it profitably, and that's our plan. We're at a crossroad, he added, noting internet speeds had levelled out for broadband since 2000. We at Google believe there is no need to wait. Hackers have stolen customer data from Australian ISP AAPT to highlight the dangers of a proposal to force telcos to store Australia's web history for up to 2 years. AAPT CEO David Ewell confirmed the security incident in a statement to Fairfax Media, saying he was extremely concerned. AAPT is conducting an investigation and has promised to contact any affected customers. The data retention proposal to store Australians' web history has been considered by the Parliamentary Joint Committee on Intelligence and Security in the face of strident opposition from internet freedom advocates who believe it is unnecessary, invasive, and could expose Australians to privacy risks. Its supporters are law enforcement agencies who argue without data retention, countless crimes would go unsolved. Exactly what AAPT data has been stolen so far is unclear, and the hacker who claims to have stolen it has yet to release it. He told scmagazine.com.au that he stole it to prove a lack of security at ISPs and telcos would have inevitably exposed any web history data collected under the data retention scheme. And US content distribution network Cloudflare has opened a new data centre in Sydney, overcoming Australia's high bandwidth prices with the help of a local network engineer and popular culture. The company competes with Amazon Web Services in some cloud services and with Akamai and Edgecast to provide protection against distributed denial of service attacks on its clients' websites by cushioning web traffic during unexpected peak periods. Until now, Cloudflare stored traffic from Australia and New Zealand through its Singapore facility, but was only able to deliver on average 160 millisecond transit time to Los Angeles. It is aiming at 40 milliseconds now. The challenge of opening a facility in Australia has been the cost. Bandwidth in the region is notoriously expensive. We talked with bandwidth providers for almost a year without much luck, said Cloudflare's Chief Executive Officer Matthew Prince. That's news.
Good news, Jason. What are your thoughts on them stories, Steve, before we get to Amy Woods?
I know before when Google came out with their, fiber system, they were trying to get, internet providers to up their speed and bandwidth, because obviously Google owns, YouTube video sharing sites and probably for other uses as well. So I think that's the reason why they kind of started their whole internet infrastructure anyway.
Right. How's your internet going?
Oh, it's great with Time Warner Cable. Yeah.
Nice. All right. What about you, Jody? What are your thoughts on them stories?
Well, first of all, I'm disappointed about the passwords being leaked or accessed. Whenever something like that happens, I think that's kind of disappointing. But with regard to Google, I mean, it's amazing to me how Google has transformed itself from being just a search engine to a company with all kinds of hardware now, phone, television, fiber systems. I'm curious what the next venture is going to be. I mean, Google Plus Hangouts they're amazing. They're changing the way we communicate, and I think it's very exciting.
Cool. All right. We got Amy Woods on. Hey, Amy.
Hi, guys.
Welcome.
How are ya?
Good.
We have a great little local twist in the Carolinas on the Google fiber story, because we were one of the cities competing in Greenville, South Carolina, to get that fiber line. And in fact, we had thousands, like I think 3,000 to 5,000 people that came out with glow sticks, and we formed the words Google in this little area of downtown Greenville, and that we had a helicopter, and Time Magazine was over the top taking this picture of us spelling out in human form Google with these lights. It was so cool. It's the greatest picture ever. That was one of our big, showing community support and that we really wanted it kind of moments, but we didn't get it, and we were so mad, and now it's killing me to hear about those speeds of connection, because that's gonna be such a powerful thing. Whatever cities get that, that's going to be such a great way to draw the tech companies of the world that need that really important fast data transmission capability that very few cities will have until Google comes to town.
Definitely. All right. Well, tell us about what you do, Amy, and that sort of thing. What sort of stuff you do? The news and things. Yeah.
Well, I'm a local news anchor in the Carolinas. But local changes these days with the global prospect of social media. We're all out there. I'm TV Amy on Twitter, and have kind of built a decent following in that space. Got onto Google Plus a year ago when it started, and have not been as diligent with it as some of my colleagues have, but still play in that space and love the power of Google Hangouts, and now the ability for all of us to have our basic own TV show with the YouTube functionality. And I play on Spreecast as well, which is another kind of video interface that chat kind of feature, recording options, and all of that. So just having a lot of fun, bringing people behind the scenes, being transparent about journalism and about the process of putting a TV newscast on the air, and showing people what it's like from where I sit each night.
Cool. Jason, any questions?
Yeah, how long have you been doing this sort of thing for?
I've been at this station for 20 years. I'm in my 21st year, really. Mm-hmm. And then I was in another station in Minnesota for 3 years, and spent some time as a teenager years ago, even before I really realized I wanted to be a journalist, doing voice recordings and things while I was living in Stockholm, Sweden. As a teenager, my dad was transferred over to Europe, and so I recorded some things for Swedish television and did some jingles for some English-speaking radio stations over there. So, I've done a lot of interesting things. I definitely have sort of been set up for this all my life. I've been doing little pieces of things from plays as a kid to the jingles in Sweden, and then getting into the newspaper world in high school, slowly getting a degree and going into the broadcast side. So
you've done a bit of voice training?
Not really. I haven't had a lot of voice training, but I guess I had a decent voice at the time of being a teenager, because people were wanting to use it at the time. So I think I've just sort of been a chameleon as I've hit different areas of the country and the world. I seem to pick up on different languages and different accents. I'm from New York, but I sound like I'm from the south of the U.S. now because I've been here for 20 years, and I don't feel like I sound that Southern. But then my friends up north will talk to me and be like, "Whoa, what happened to you?" So I guess we all ebb and flow with where we are and what we call home,
Yeah. I've done a bit of voice training and some volunteer radio, but I haven't got into anything professionally with it yet.
Cool.
Well, you sound like you have. There you go.
You should give us a sample, Jason, of the voice things you do, mate.
Yeah. I used to have some online, but I haven't got them at the moment, so I have to. I do a bit of. I have done in the past, but I've been a bit slack lately doing reading for a site called LibriVox.org. I don't know if you've heard of that one, and it's where people go to read any public domain books and poems and short stories and things, and they might have like one person picks. You might have like 20 people, and each one picks a chapter, and each person will read a chapter of that book, and then they combine it into an MP3 and upload it for free downloading for anybody, which is really good for people who don't have a lot of money and they might be blind, or they want to listen to an audio book on the way to work, and they can just get it from LibriVox and listen to a whole story there.
That's amazing. I hadn't heard about that. That's a great service.
Yeah,
that's where I do most of my. Well, I have done in the past a lot of reading for there, or they might have one poem, and they want to have different interpretations of what the poem might sound like when people are reading it. So you might have like 20, 30 people submit their version of reading the poem, and everybody's got a different emphasis and different structure on the words, and everybody can listen to a different version and see which one they prefer.
That's neat.
Yeah.
I really like that idea. Very, very cool. Yeah. Say the site again. What's the site called?
LibriVox.org.
Very good. I'll have to look for that.
Jody, any questions for Amy?
Yeah, Amy. First of all, I think what you're doing is like cutting edge. The fact that you're incorporating social and broadcast, and I'm curious where you see the broadcast industry moving in the future.
I really feel like, we're going to get more and more, it's going to get more and more about the digital side, I think, because I think the audience is fractioning more and more every day, where people are busier, they don't have time, they're watching it on their own schedule and replay on DVRs. They're watching online now more and more. We're getting ready in August to have our newscasts be able to be seen on most mobile devices. So, people will be able to watch anywhere they want, whenever they want, how much they want. So I think it's going to come down to probably delivering more and more micro material, that's in smaller doses and pieces and slivers of interest areas, whether it's, by topic or by specific story and theme. And I think we're going to have to do more and more of that, whether it be, online material only or television stuff that's cut up and delivered on the digital side differently. But we've got a lot of adjusting to do to people's habits. I mean, we really need to be paying attention to how people are consuming and then answer the need that we're seeing and figure out how to monetize it. That's the trick is we know we need to be in the digital space. We know that's where it's going, but how to make money off of it in any equal status to television is going to be a pretty tough thing to work out.
Cool.
And I'm also curious, I noticed that you did a lot of coverage, kind of man on the street stuff with regard to the incident in Aurora. And I'm curious what kind of feedback you got from that.
Well, I did pull some people in, for example, on Spreecast, and I think I did a Google Hangout too. But I've done some different outreach to ask people, what they were thinking about it. And there's been so much. I'm in the south of the U.S. and gun rights are very big here. I mean, people pretty much the immediate reaction in this region mainly was, "Gosh, I wish somebody had a concealed weapon in that theater and could have, fired back."
I believe that.
But there's a lot of experts too that are saying, "Hey, even the most skilled gunmen in that room." Being dark, having noise, having people running all over the place, having this guy as heavily armored as he was, whether it's really sort of doubtful whether they could have taken him down in those circumstances.
I was reading a discussion on a website about that, and people were saying, well, what if there was 10 guys there with concealed weapons and they all start firing? Then who's firing at who in the dark? And then it could end up even worse.
Yeah, I mean, it's really hard to know. I do know, like, for example, I go to a movie theater here in my town. It's one of those stadium theater kind of environments like this was. And it was 16, different theaters in the place. It's just a big, massive place. But they've had teenage problems over the years with rowdy kids. So they always have deputies on duty there. There are always cops there when you go for any kind of an evening showing. So I always feel good about that. I mean, I'm glad to see them there just to make sure things don't get out of hand. And I don't know, if they had that kind of person there. I guess they said it happened so fast, really, even then, you still probably wouldn't have been able to get out of the situation. But I do like knowing that there's law enforcement pretty close by in that environment to sort of be able to move in and take some action if need be.
I wonder if this is going to result in having metal detectors to walk through before people go in cinemas or something.
I doubt it. I really doubt it. I think, I don't think so. I mean, I just don't think the American people will tolerate it.
They have them in their schools, though, don't they?
No. I mean, not really. No. Most schools around here don't have any metal detectors. Maybe in some big city, inner city schools with historic problems, but I don't know of any in South Carolina that have metal detectors.
Oh, okay.
Okay. What's any news on that guy? What's going to happen to him, Amy? Any news? Is he going to be in jail for what?
I mean, the only thing tonight that they were talking about is that his defense team didn't want it out that he was under treatment by the psychiatrist at the school, at the university that got the letter on Monday, or the package or whatever that came in on Monday. And so that's interesting. It makes you, first of all, if this woman was treating him and had no clue up to this point that he was headed in this direction, and then everything took a dive and he went over the deep end. Can you imagine being her? How awful she feels. Yeah. But then worse, if she did know in any way or somehow failed to act or failed to do enough, that also, I mean, I'd hate to be her. That's, because she's got to feel a sense of responsibility that, like, wow, I was the only person in touch with guys' issues. And, maybe she was, maybe she wasn't. Who knows? And who knows if he was like, one of these people that feigns, getting help and then really is keeping it all tucked away and goes over, has a snapping kind of episode.
Yeah. And he had his house was wired up to explode too, wasn't it? The block of units.
Yeah. He apparently, I mean, allegedly, that's what the cops say. So
hardcore.
All we do is tell you what the cops say. All right. We know nothing.
I have a question from Jacob. He wants to know how long you've been on TV for.
I mentioned that I've been in this market 20 years and then another 3 in Minnesota. So I've been almost 25 years on the air professionally on television. But I was one of those kids in high school. We were of the generation that didn't have like all the newscasts. Like a lot of schools now, kids are doing newscasts. I don't know if that's happening in your country, but here in the U.S., all the kids, local schools have a morning newscast, and there's kids that are the anchors and kids that are the writers and kids that, get involved in the producing. We didn't have that, but we did start it at my school. We up to the point where I was there was nothing, but they had some video equipment, and we all said, hey, we should start a show. And so we did a monthly sort of news magazine kind of show where we talked about the topics and issues the kids were facing and what was going on at the school. And so I've done all that since like the early 80s,
Okay.
Yeah, they don't have that here, but they
80s,
should.
yeah.
No,
It'd be really cool if they did.
Yeah, they should. And they even don't do Hangouts either over here. Channel 10 or 9 don't do that sort of stuff. What you do, Amy, and we're way behind over here. They don't do that sort of thing over here.
No
well, we need to
interaction
bring
with
it
our
on
news.
over there.
Well, you should come to Australia and work at Channel 9
Innovation.
or work at ABC 24 or whatever it is.
Wouldn't that be fun?
It'll be pretty fun. Yeah. Steve, any questions for Amy?
Yeah. Do you use like any more technology? Because I know like I've seen newscasts. They integrate Skype, for like remote broadcasting. Like I don't know. Do you use iPads for the show or anything like that?
Yeah, well, we're using iPads behind the scenes for our scripts now. We just went to that about in the last few months, and we've saved it's ridiculous the amounts that we rolled out like carts and carts of paper that we saved in 4 months, not using printing out our scripts every night like we used to do. But we've been doing that for a few months. So I've got iPads for my scripts. We've got robotic cameras, so we have no people in our studio. It's just us and the cameras, and they have joysticks upstairs that like move them around, and they're computer programmed. So there's like they call them TMEs. I don't know what that stands for, but they basically have pre-programmed positions that are the traditional. Oh, here's Amy's one shot. Here's the two shot of Amy and Tom, and then they have a code they stick in there and in the computer programming side of it, and so our directors now have become almost like little programmers, because they're going through things that they used to do live during a show. They're actually putting in the half hour before. And then they actually sit there while I'm sitting on set, sort of getting ready in the first 5-10 minutes before the show. They're actually doing a run through of the order of everything that they programmed in just to make sure it went in right. And then, of course, it makes it a little more dicey when they're trying to add things when you have, breaking news. But they have ways to handle that, too. They have some pre-programmed options that they just throw in there if something breaks.
Very high tech.
Yeah, I mean, it's changed. It's sad, though, because, I mean, for us, and that's actually why the behind the scenes has been powerful for me. I started all my interactive before we lost our crew in the studio and went to robots, but now that we have no one in the studio, and I do like a solo anchored 10 o'clock show, so I'm all by myself out there, it's awesome to have viewers with me on set, in this either Hangout or Ustream or now Spreecast, because I have some company, I have some people to talk to, and there's this chat going on, and the way we used to kind of visit with our crew during the commercial breaks, and hang out and laugh, we'd cut up or do whatever. Well, now we do that with our viewers at home. So it's kind of really helped me not be completely bored and lose my energy, during the commercial break. So I've really enjoyed the opportunity to reach out and connect with the viewers during that time.
Be more personal and interactive with the viewers as well. They'd love that.
Yeah, it's fun.
What's the funniest story you've read out on news, Amy?
Oh gosh. Who knows? I mean, there are many, many funny ones. We had a great blooper moment today.
Okay.
We had you put up the graphics, the graphics that say, various points of a story, like if it's safety tips on something. Today, I can't remember what the story was, but it was something about a guy in a plea deal, and it was something to do with an investment scheming kind of thing. And it says something about the government was going to be seizing his assets. They left out the letter T.
Okay.
And so up on the screen is that lovely word, and it was up there for a long time. And so you have those moments where those things happen, and it's so funny because you see those happen, the sort of errors in the graphics and things, and when it happens at another station, it's hilarious. You're just dying laughing at it. Well, when it happens at your own, it's a little harder to laugh, but I still laugh. I think it's funny. I mean, if it happened all the time, I'd get alarmed and worried about it, but that's pretty rare that we have those kinds of things happen.
Cool. So, Amy, do you have much to do with Australian news at all?
I really don't keep up with it. So what's the big story down there tonight?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't follow. I don't know.
We follow tech news.
Yeah,
You
before.
were hoping that I was going to tell you, weren't you?
Well, yeah, I thought you would have followed some news over there. But you know, any news people over in Australia or heard of?
You know, I do. If I were to get on my LinkedIn, I could tell you some people I know down there, because I know somebody down there reached out to me a long time ago when I was first starting my interactive stuff with some sincere interest in it. You know, so I know that there are some broadcasters down there who are interested. I just can't think of.
You should check out Sandra Shelley. She's cool. She does the Channel 10 news.
Awesome.
Yeah,
I will.
she's cool.
I will.
Yeah, she does Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, isn't she, Jason? You know her, don't you?
I've seen her on the show. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I got a quick question for Amy.
Go ahead, Steve.
You know, you were talking about bloopers and stuff. Did you ever have like the automated robots like go crazy and just start, you know, showing the camera go everywhere or anything like that?
Well, no, but we have had a thing where, we have one camera that whines, like makes a whining noise occasionally. It's like it must be one of the fans or something, and it gets going and it's annoying. But we have we have really high tech, fabulous cameras on top of really old tripods, like old studio tripods that require pump. They literally they have to be pumped up with air, and you know, they're supposed to do it periodically, and I think there's a sort of a schedule to it, but occasionally I think gets by people to do it, and so suddenly a camera will just drop. And I have an old picture somewhere on Facebook. I'll have to try to find it and post it somewhere for you guys to see. Of the camera, like them, you know, down, like looking like a midget cam. You know, it's just this teeny weeny little camera, and the guys out there with their bike pump, you know, pumping this thing up, and it's just hilarious to think how high tech we are. But they're out there with a bike pump, you know, pumping this thing back up again. So yeah, we have our moments, our funny moments like that.
Cool. Jay, got another question for you. If you weren't in news, what would your dream be?
I love my online world. I mean, I really, really do. So my dream job, if digital could take off in a strong enough way, I would love to just be telling stories and doing hangouts and talking about big issues and, just connecting with people online, you know, and serving a bigger audience in the digital space. I think I love the people I meet online. I think it's really fun. I've met people, like you say, from all over the world, like you guys, and I just think it's interesting, and there's so much to talk about, so many issues that are important, and so many stories to tell. And you know, I take as many opportunities as I can to jump on. You know, if I find something going on, in the good old days, I'd send it to the assignment desk here, and I'd wait for them to tell me that I could cover the story or they were going to cover the story. Well, now, anytime I want to, if I find a story and that person has a webcam, I'm like, let's get online and let's do a story, and we'll just do it a longer form interview, or we might shoot something on location and whatever. And I can tell any story I want to now. I don't have to wait for permission. I don't have to wait for resources. I have them, and so it's very, very powerful, and it's definitely made it more fun to do my job on a daily basis, because now I can accomplish storytelling anytime I want, at any pace I want, on any subject I want, and it's been kind of fun to have that freedom. I actually entered, we have these contests. They go state by state, and there are national ones, but in the state we have these broadcast contests where it's like, who's the best television station, who's the best anchor, who's the best meteorologist, all this stuff. Well, they ask us all on staff, put in your entry. And so I put in my entry this year, and instead of putting in television stuff, I used all of my online stuff, all, different interviews I've done. I do a web show that's like a community planning sort of event show. I do, the different behind the scenes broadcasts. I've gone online with people when, big storms are rolling through, just various things I've done through the year. Put it all in there with not a clip of television, nothing that I've done on TV, entered for Anchor of the Year, and I've been nominated for Anchor of the Year. I find out on August 11th if I win. But if I win, it's to me a win for social media. It's a social media win if I win.
Yeah.
And it's already a social media win anyway, because it's acknowledging that this is the new game in town. This is the way to be a journalist.
Cool. What are your thoughts on Sarah Hill?
Oh, I love her. I think she's amazing. I will miss her being in the traditional news space, but at the same time, I think she's going to she'll just find her own little way to do exactly what she wants. and I think it's amazing, the audience she's built and the way she's used, the two-way communications. It's really powerful. I mean, she's proof that this works. Another example, they did a story, one of these digital news services in the U.S. that covers like the digital space. They did an article on our market, our television market, which is the Greenville-Spartanburg market in South Carolina. And the article is all about, all the media, all the traditional media, WSPA, WYFF, all the big stations, all the newspapers, and which websites are the strongest, and da-da-da-da. And then it gets down to the social side, and they talk about all those stations and me. And I thought that was amazing that, an individual got mentioned in this discussion of market digital strength, because normally that's all about television stations, and and it just shows you that social media can really empower anyone in any field to go to heights they could never reach without it. U.S. is full of big TV markets. My market is market 35 out of 200 something markets. New York, obviously, market number 1. All the big markets are out there. They did a couple of years ago, they did a list of the top tweeting local news anchors in broadcast, and they labeled me as the number 1 top tweeting anchor, and the rest of them were like Los Angeles, New York, Chicago underneath me. And I'm this little kid in South Carolina making the top of the list. And it's just that kind of thing that the small business, the small person, the individual brand can rise up through all of that other stuff and be noticed and recognized and succeed. And I think that's really the lesson of social media, is that, if you have something to say, and if you have a mission and a message, and you're willing to put in the time and the sweat, you can really pop through the clutter and become something remarkable.
Cool. What did your family think about all this?
Oh, they wish I would stop tweeting. But it's really funny. My husband is like the least tech person in America. I mean, serious. He's just not into tech. He had one of those flip phones forever and ever and ever. And about 6 months ago, he got an iPhone. Nice. And now he does all the things I've always done. He doesn't tweet or anything, but I mean, he's always at dinner, checking his email, I'm like, hey, put that thing down. Now, finally, I get to say to him, hey, put that thing down.
Revenge.
But, turnabout is always fun, isn't it?
What sort of technology do you use, Amy? Like iPhone and that sort of stuff, and at home?
Yeah, I've got a lot of iOS, but I've got the iPhone, I got the iPad, the original iPad. I don't have one with video yet. I'm really thinking about getting a Droid tablet, and I'm really thinking about getting the Nexus 7.
I definitely get it. I recommend it for the price. It's cheap.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like a good buy, and I love the Droid space. I think it's fun to be into. I've always liked to be in all the games. Like, for example, I have a Facebook personal thing that I've opened up to subscribe, and then I have a fan page. It took me 4 years to get 15,000 people on my fan page, wow. And in like 6 months, I got 100,000 people on my new thing. And so a lot of people are like, well, just, merge them and get rid of the other one. And I'm like, no, I want to still be in the fan page space because I want to understand what's going on there. I just want to understand the landscape of what's happening, and so I can sort of stay relevant, and know what's going on. But yeah, Droid Land, I had a Droid before I got my iPhone, and I liked it. I just didn't find the screen as responsive as that iPhone screen is, and I just find it easier to type on the iPhone.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, the iPhone's way to go. And Jody, any questions?
No, I just I'm curious which social media you like the best, if you had to choose one. Which platform?
Oh boy! In this market, I mean, it's kind of it's a cat. I think I really enjoy Twitter the most, and G+ Hangouts also. Either G+ Hangouts or Twitter for conversation, and then because just the lion's share of people are on Facebook in this market, I enjoy Facebook as far as really connecting with viewers. I feel like I connect more with people who take me to the next level in tech on Twitter and G+, in terms of, like sharing ideas, sharing technology, advice, professional development. I feel like it's just sort of a headier, intelligent place. And then for me, most of my viewers are on Facebook, and so I feel like it's more viewer interaction there, even though I obviously interact with viewers on the other platforms too, but I really feel like it's totally almost viewer land for me on Facebook, and then it's a combination of professional development and TV anchor interaction and just having a good time on the others. How about you guys? What do you like the most?
Me, I like Twitter better.
Yeah, I think
I
Twitter
live
for
on
me.
Twitter and Facebook.
Yeah, same. I agree with Jason. Steve, what do you like better?
Probably Twitter first, and then Google Plus second. I never really did much on Facebook, but that's just me.
What about you, Jody?
I use them for different things, kind of like Amy mentioned. For connecting with people that I already know, mostly Facebook. I love Google Plus. I love the Hangout option for connecting with new people. Twitter, I'm not on Twitter as much as I used to be. I used to really use Twitter a lot, and now I find it to be kind of pale in comparison to the depth of information that comes through from Google Plus.
I see you on Twitter all the time, JD. Posting stuff.
Yeah, I'm on there, but I do post stuff, yeah, and I monitor the stream, but not like I used to. I used to be on there quite a lot more.
Okay, fair enough. All right, any last?
And Twitter is for me like a news service. I mean, it's like my wire service. I mean, it just totally keeps me up to date. That's really where I go and get the lion's share of just my news info to share with people, because I'm doing a lot of resharing of other people's, sort of as an aggregator of some of the best stuff that I find. And I think people really find that. I've always kind of considered myself news concierge, where you're, trying to meet people's needs, answering their questions, getting them the links they're looking for, providing them with the stuff that you see as the best that's out there, whether it's our own stuff, which some of it is, or the stuff that I find from other news organizations.
Cool. All right. Any last question before we go, Steve, before we wrap up, mate?
Oh, no, that was it.
Jason, any more questions?
No, thanks for being on the show. It's a very interesting chat.
Yeah, thanks, Amy.
Thank you, guys.
Before you go, where are you at the moment?
I'm sitting in the lobby at the TV station because I was trying to find some quiet because our sports guy was doing the morning sportscast recording, so I had to bolt out of the studio. But I'm getting ready to go pack up my makeup and head home and call it a weekend.
Cool. Good stuff. All right, appreciate you being on. Where can they find you on Twitter and the internet and stuff?
You could find me at about.me/TV Amy Wood, which has all the links to all of my stuff.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm on G+. I'm on everything. So,
can you give us your before you go? Give us your news story voice.
You've heard it. I'm not very. I'm not one of these overly formal, uptight anchors. Trust me.
Okay.
I'm very conversational, and I try to keep it real.
So your voice doesn't change when you're on the news?
Not a lot, I don't think. Maybe a little, but...
And that was Amy Wood on Techwebcast. Thank you for coming into our show.
I do have to say that You're Open is one of my favorite things I've ever heard in my life. I get so excited hearing You're Open.
You should hear the end of it.
Really?
Yeah, the end of it's better.
Okay.
Steve, any questions? Where can they find you on Twitter, mate? Before you go, do you want to add anything before you go?
Okay, you can find me on justin.tv/SlendixCoolDude and on Twitter as cheddarbox_live.
And me, Adam, I'm Brad Ozen at Techwebcast. JD?
Find me on Twitter as Sunswept, everywhere else as either Jody Rains or webmarcom.net.
All right, cool. So you're going to get Nexus 7, Amy?
I think so. Yeah, unfortunately, they're not available right now. As soon as I wanted one, they became unavailable, and I want to get the one with the bigger memory, so I'm going to wait.
Yeah, I say just go find one over the weekend if you can. One of the stores may have one.
I'll be digging everywhere.
Yeah. All right. Okay, Jason, you want to say anything before we go, mate?
Yeah, so you can find me on Twitter, Warlock, WAULOK, and bluebilby.com.
Yep, and Techwebcast 200 episodes next week. Next
Woo!
Can't wait.
Cool.
Fun.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Amy.
Okay.
You're a legend.
Thank you.
See ya.
Have a great weekend.
Hi, Glenn from Aussie Tech Heads. Join Will, Eric, and myself as we bring you the latest, most up-to-date, important tech news that affects you from Australia and the world. Weekly podcast available each Friday through iTunes. Watch the live stream recording of the show at live.thesecrethub.com each Thursday night, 7:30 p.m. or GMT +10. Call in live via Skype or chat in our lounge. However you get us, just make sure you do. Listen or visit our website for more information, www.aussietechhead.com.au. Aussie Tech Techheads, Australia's longest-running tech news podcast.
Well, that's it for Techwebcast this week. Thank you for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed having your mind expanded. Tune in next week for more tech talk with Brad, Jason, and whatever crazy guest they've managed to rope in. Don't forget to get the Techwebcast app from iTunes. Follow us on Twitter at Techwebcast, and of course check us out on Facebook too. Until next time, may the tech be with you. Peace.